Hey everyone, I'm Rachel Senegal, and welcome to our interview series Behind the Byline, where we get a glimpse behind the curtain at the fantastic writers who contribute to our team. Joining me today is Daniella Schoeman. Let's kick things off. How are you doing, Daniella? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing well today, thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Well, to kick things off, we'd love to know what got you into the world of content marketing.
I've always loved reading. I would get lost in books for hours as a child, but I never really enjoyed writing until I got to university. I was studying psychology, and we had to start doing that really deep research, like through searching through lots of library books and, yeah, just writing really in-depth content, essays, and taking a lot of different sources, putting it together and coming up with your own opinion. And I really, at that point, realized I love doing this. I love writing, I love researching. But I didn't think about it much. I was going to be a psychologist. So what I ended up doing is quitting my job on a whim, my first job on a whim after being there for 3 years. I was a customer care consultant. And then I was like, what am I going to do? I needed to find something else to do. I had a part time job after that working with a clinical psychologist, but it wasn't enough. So I found Upwork, and surprisingly, I made quite a bit of money with Upwork, with a few different clients. I wouldn't recommend the platform today, but back then, it was a reasonable start for someone into the world of content marketing. It helped me get a few bylines, build my portfolio, and then I also started a blog around the same time. And since then, I've been writing online. It's been almost a decade now.
That's amazing. What a great backstory. Do you have any tools and techniques that you use to conduct research and gather insights about each topic that you're writing about? Especially if you've been in this for a decade, I'd love to hear your perspective of how you kind of get started.
It always starts in Google. I mean, you start with the Google search, but I've noticed that it really takes a discerning eye and experience to be able to sift through the information that you find on Google. What's relevant, what's trustworthy sources, and what's not. I mean, there's a lot of different opinions that people share online. Not all of it is worthwhile adding or using to do research and create your own content from there. But also as a South African, a tool that is vital for me is a VPN, because a lot of the searches that you do in South Africa brings up different results that it would for the US. So, and most of our clients are US based. So I need to give relevant sources or use relevant sources. So I use a VPN. A lot of my clients, the clients that I've worked with, I can't even access their website without a VPN because I'm from South Africa. So yeah, between Google search, also using discernment to find the right sources, and a VPN. Those are basically the tools that I use the most.
That kind of goes into my next question of how do you stay updated with the latest trends and developments in the industries you work with? But it sounds like it has a lot to do with making sure you have that VPN because you're in South Africa. But do you have any other tips and tricks to stay updated?
So I read a lot. So I basically, I'm constantly Googling things. I'm constantly like thinking of different ways to find information, or word my questions in different ways to find new information or different sources to use. But I'm also, I subscribe to a lot of newsletters from different industries. My inbox is constantly full. It's almost like a full-time job sifting through all that information. But it's really useful to find information and to keep up with the trends if you're following certain newsletters, because it comes out weekly and it's usually very up to date.
Is there anything you do to adapt your communication style when working with different customers or industries?
Each niche is really different, and you kind of have to get into a different mindset, especially if they're completely different. So I've worked in a whole bunch of different niches, and each can vary so much that you kind of have to. I like to go down a little rabbit hole whenever I'm about to start writing for a new client, and basically I go through their website, I read their emails, I read their social media posts. I spend a few days just like immersing myself into their writing and how they communicate with their audience. Because I find once I start writing, if I've done that, I've been reading their content, I've been absorbing how they communicate. It makes it a lot easier to adapt my tone and my style to their audience, you know. So it's something that I've realized as a ghostwriter. Most of my work is ghostwriting, is that you kind of have to be a bit of a chameleon. You have to like change yourself and the way you read things, the way you write things, the way you communicate yourself according to the client that you're writing for.
Is there a specific industry you are passionate about writing for?
So I love writing travel content. It's just so much fun to do. I am a travel writer. My blog's a travel blog. It's what I really love to do. But what I'm really passionate about is mental health and psychology topics. So it's so diverse, and there's so many different avenues that you can focus on when it comes to psychology and mental health. And it's actually just really rewarding taking that time to do that research, to find out how things are changing, how things affect people and behavior, mindset, things like that. So I enjoy writing psychology content the most because it gives me some fulfillment. But travel writing is just plain fun.
I think that's also amazing, especially considering that you were studying that at university. So to be able to kind of collide both worlds, that's one of those, situations where it can't get any better than that you had two different passions and how can you mold them and be able to work on them together.
Exactly. And I think it's what I realized when I started with Upwork is like, oh, wow, I've got this skill set. I've got this academic background, this knowledge. Why don't I combine that with writing? And it actually worked out really well for me. And it's a niche that I specialized in when I got started, just to help me give me some focus and to help me get more clients.
Yeah. Especially too, when you were getting started, that's where you're most confident. So that's how you're able to, feel the best when you're going into work every day. And so then now you're in a position where you can branch off to other topics, but it's always great to have like a good place to start.
Yeah.
When you're writing for yourself, what draws you to a specific topic?
I like to research new things. I have a bit of a shiny objects syndrome where I go down a rabbit hole with one idea and then I follow the next idea. And if it ignites some sort of passion and it gets me excited, then I know it's something that is worth writing about. It's something that's worth sharing because it's going to come out in my writing as well when I'm really excited or interested in a topic.
Do you have any article you wrote that resonated with an audience in a way you didn't expect?
I think I wrote an article about epigenetics for EHR's company. That's through it was through ClearVoice, and it actually got a lot of. I used it in my portfolio, and it got a lot of good feedback, and it actually helped me land at other jobs as well, which was quite useful.
Oh, that's amazing. That's what we love to hear. And, speaking of ClearVoice in your portfolio, I know you started working with us in writing with ClearVoice in 2019. Can you tell us a little bit about what that journey has been like for you as a freelance writer? And if there is anything you would offer as advice to someone getting started?
So I would say ClearVoice has been pivotal to my career. Like when I started in 2019, I was still struggling to get new clients. It's always difficult as a writer to market yourself while also doing really good work for clients. So when I applied to ClearVoice and I started getting consistent work from ClearVoice, it was really helpful to me because I knew, okay, I had the stability and I could just focus on what I enjoyed doing, which was the writing work. And for anyone who is interested in becoming a writer, I'd say first do it. It's really worthwhile. It's a rewarding career. It gives you a lot of freedom, but also allows you to be creative. But also just understand that it is a long game. It's not something that would happen overnight. You have to be willing to put in the time and the effort and continuously educate yourself, to make it work. But it's really worthwhile.
Well, we've touched on it a few times in this interview, but I did want to bring it back that, your postgraduate degree in psychology and how you enjoy writing about mental health. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired that passion and if there is a particular aspect of psychology you enjoy writing about?
I think it was my need to understand why people were the way they were that led me to want to study psychology. People also tend to open up to me, so it just felt natural. And with regards to the writing, I enjoy the clinical psychology side, like getting really into the disorders and understanding the complex parts of the human mind.
Well, finally, what are your future goals or aspirations as a content writer and strategist?
Um,
Big question.
I have been I have been doing some producer work for ClearVoice as well, which I'm really enjoying. Just getting to see a different side of the content production process. At the moment, I'm hoping to continue with the work that I've got. So I don't have any goals to change where I am. I'm quite happy with how I am, the clients that I have, and the work that's coming into me.
Oh, awesome. Well, Daniella, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back with more interviews with these dynamic writers and industry leaders. To learn more about our amazing content specialists, visit clearvoice.com.